Hello and welcome to Reflective Android. In the last video, I presented a feature I wanted to refactor as well as the guardrails necessary to do it with confidence, behavior test. In this video, we'll plan the refactoring together with Gemini in Android Studio. For that, we'll use some custom prompts. When you watch the video, you'll notice that these prompts look like skills. The reason is, at the time I was recording this video, skills were still not supported in Android Studio. But you could use these prompts as skills to obtain very similar results. The main difference when using these prompts as skills is that we would not need to implicitly add them to the context, as I do in this video. Instead, by using some keywords when communicating with the agent, like refactor classes in the commit with this hash, the agent can automatically search for the corresponding refactoring skill and load it in the context. You can find a link to the official documentation of skills in Gemini with Android Studio in the description of this video. So let's start planning the refactoring.
The first prompt is going to be the refactoring strategist, right? And here, as you can see, is a markdown. And the first thing that we have here is basically a persona. We are telling the LLM that he is a super expert in refactoring. We also point to the URL where he will find all the refactoring techniques that are actually described in this file, all of them. And those are refactoring techniques from Martin Fowler. Probably you have heard of him. Then I will change the view. Also important, this prompt is going to generate two files. We're going to see here. One's the code refactoring report, and also very important in this report, in the plan that it's going to generate, it's going to be about atomic steps. So it's always going to leave the application in a compilable state. And also something that I've added is this last step, because this is a library. For me, it's very important that if there is a change in the API, I should know about it before I refactor it to decide whether I want that breaking change or not, and how I should go about that. So this is basically the first prompt. You can take a look at it. It's really long because it contains all the refactoring techniques that are in that URL. Now it's time to start with the refactoring. So for that, we're gonna prompt. So we're gonna say use the file strategies, refactoring strategies, to come up with refactoring techniques for the production code, not the test, the code under test, source it in the commit, and then we have to copy the hash where we have done the changes, which is this one, add minimal code to support get display name, and here we can see the hash of this commit. I copy it, then I come back here and write it down, and then I push submit, and well, it's gonna take a while, so I'll probably speed up the video, but it should generate two files, two MD files. One is gonna be a quick overview of the refactoring changes it comes up with, and the second one is like a more detailed refactoring plan. And basically you have to read it to get an idea of what are the changes that it's gonna do, and disagree probably with it, propose some changes, some things that I want, some things that I don't want, but we'll see. So I'm gonna speed up the video till these files are generated. Well, it seems it has finished. So now we're gonna check those files, and we'll see how we proceed. So let's take a look at the generated files which are under report. First of all, I'm gonna take a look at the summary to have a quick overview. And yeah, we see here that is proposing a breaking chains, which probably requires a little bit more of attention on my side. And then something to simplify some logic. Well, and also extract this for reflection. Good, so with this table I get quite a good overview. Here I have even more information. And I'm gonna read a little bit quickly. Yeah, it recommends to do this immediately, and next on this. Good, then I will read this code refactoring report, which I'm gonna open now. This is a little bit longer, also not very long, because it was a very small change. So I'm working in small batches, very important. I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna explain to you what I think I'm gonna refactor, what I will not, and why, probably. Although maybe you need a little bit more of context, but I will try to explain it anyway. So I've already analyzed the document, and let me tell you about what we are gonna do, what we are not gonna do, and why, and also what I'm gonna push back. So first of all, this refactoring composable preview with preview parameters mapper is proposing something about reflection, and I'm gonna skip this one. The reason why I'm using reflection here is because this is a Java library, not Android library, and sometimes I'm checking for Android dependencies. And the only way to check for Android dependencies without adding those dependencies, so to speak, because they're Android dependencies and it's a Java library, I repeat, is via reflection. So that's why I'm using reflection, and I do not like what is proposing here. I don't think this is going to happen, and if this happens, the error is likely something else, and this only makes the code a little bit more complicated. So this, I'm going to ignore it. Then the second one, this one I like it. It's a small one. As you can see, what I also like of this report is that it offers the before and the after. It's a very small change, but I think it makes sense. Yeah, here that instead of using this, I use that one. And it also explains why. Yeah. So this, I'm gonna take it. That is the number 2, refactoring this. Step 2, but I will take that into account. Okay, this impact, API impact, I'm aware of it. That's the way I did it to support it. And I'm okay with that, with this breaking chains. I'm, as I said, I'm completely aware of this. So I'm gonna do it. It has some proposals which I do honestly dislike. So I'm not gonna take them. And this one is also good, but how it's proposed, I don't like it. Because here, as I said, I added this preview parameter display name, and these two are very related because I'm gonna display either the display name or the index. So I agree that it's a long list of parameters, but instead of wrapping all of them, I want to wrap only these two. So I'm gonna tell to create a plan with the step number 2 and also this, but wrapping these 2 parameters in one object. So let's go ahead and push back on this plan. So regarding the plan, and oops, code refactoring, it's not summary, it's code refactoring report, code refactoring report. I want to keep only step 2 and modify step 4. No, and regarding step 4, for this 2, I want to wrap these two variables to one object, since they are related. Can you change the plan accordingly? And then I click and it would modify the plan. So it's finished. Let's check again what it has done. So let's take a good look again at the summary, where we can see only these two. This looks fine, exactly what the two changes I wanted. So now let's take a look at the report, and we see there are only two steps. Exactly. So the first one is these chains. Exactly. And the other one is, instead of having these two, so here before, yeah, exactly these two, we have the preview index info. It's actually a good name, I like it. And here it's telling me the risk level, priority, and the impact. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. So I approve this. Let's execute it, right?
If there is one thing I want you to take away from this video, is this. Planning before starting a refactoring is essential if you want predictable, high-quality results. The key is to keep the overall scope of the refactoring small, focusing only on a limited set of related files. This naturally follows when you refactor continuously. Then, break your plan into small atomic steps that always leave the code in a compilable state. And small steps matter, because the larger the change, the more likely an AI agent is to take unnecessary liberties, introducing changes you didn't ask for or overcomplicating the code. They also make the code much easier to review. Think of it like investigating a case. Each small step gives you a clear clue about what happened. By following those steps, you can build a mental model of what the agent actually did, instead of having to review dozens of files where you eventually just give up and say, yeah, looks good to me. Also, atomic steps matter, because once a step is complete and the code compiles, you can run your guardrails to verify everything still works as expected. At that point, you can commit the change and create a reliable checkpoint, so you can always roll back to a known good state, this checkpoint. We'll dive deeper into checkpoints in the next video, where we'll execute the refactoring based on this plan. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the final part of the series, where we'll execute this refactoring using Gemini in Android Studio. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.